gave us an intro.
No intro. It's just like, bam, bitches, you on.
Shit.
So, oh my God, that just tickled me like way too intensely. So, as we start getting people in tonight, the reason that we were laughing once you see this is because we're trying a new platform tonight, just to test out what's going to work better for our needs and all the things, because we ready to grow this thing and be great and all that. But yeah, I put the intro. I put the intro in here in the study. And when we went live, we were all like, is it gonna do it? Clearly it did not.
It did
So
not. It just went bow, chicka, bow, bow.
damn. We'll try that again next week. But for today, because we are already in here, first and foremost, before we dive in, like y'all know we love to do, go ahead and get you something juicy to yummy to eat on and sip on. Tell us what you drinking on, what you snacking on, where you're from, who you be, as you get on up in the chat. Girl, have you been pre-gaming? My God,
She
today.
been pre-gaming.
Okay.
She already done.
It's empty though. It's empty because it's in the
We
glass.
know it's empty.
It's empty because it's in the glass now. Shut up.
Do not operate any motor vehicles or any heavy machinery.
Do it look like I plan on operating any vehicles tonight?
Oh my
I
God.
also said heavy machinery.
Listen, you need to not be making any important decisions while you're at it. Everything needs to be
Child,
waylaid until tomorrow,
I,
okay?
I haven't made an important decision since last Wednesday.
Mm.
Oh my God. So, okay, back on track. Yes, what are you drinking? What are you sipping? Where you at? Who you be? And make sure that you grab that share link because we are streaming it live on YouTube. Tell your people because I'm saying if you're not telling them, I don't really think you like them like that.
That
That's
part.
just my truth. Okay. So tonight's topic, I feel like is kind of I was saying before we came live, I feel like it's a culmination of the things that we've talked about this year so far. Because
Mm-hmm.
we done talked about red flags, we done talked about
Right.
that bullshit when folks just need to get slapped, maybe
Right.
buried in the backyard. We done talked about everything in between. So now we're talking about, do people fall in love blindly? Are they choosing fantasy over reality? And when we first talked about the topic, Jixie was like, "Oh, I got something. Okay, I'm
I
gonna
got
talk about it."
one.
Now she don't know what it was.
No, I know now. I
But
remember
but
Okay,
now.
you
but
remember?
I remember. I
but let
remember
me
now.
hold on. Let me
Oh, come
say
on,
this:
Sean, come on through.
if you do bury somebody in your backyard, plant endangered species flowers over top of that, because
Mm.
that way the feds can't touch. They can't touch it. It's endangered species.
Put a
This is all
fucking
Fun
for
fact.
patio.
entertainment purposes
Put a
only.
patio on ass. Put a patio on
Nah,
ass.
They can dig that
they
up.
can go ahead. Yup. Put an
They can dig
endangered
that up.
species flower. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I just heard that somewhere. I thought I'd
You
share that.
heard
That's
that
all.
somewhere.
Hmm.
What
Look,
flower
they can
would
dig
you
that up.
recommend?
But this is for entertainment purposes only. But if you do it, tell us about it. Let us know how it goes. Because I mean, we always
No,
like to hear
don't
your
tell me
tips and
shit. Don't tell me shit. I ain't
Yeah,
going to
don't tell
court.
me
I
you.
ain't.
no,
Don't
we're
I
tell
not
would
me
not
talking about
please
the
shit.
tell me.
details. We're talking about the
Oh,
flowers.
oh, oh, oh. Okay,
Because we all into the
okay.
gardening and the homesteading and the
Yeah,
outdoor things. So
you
tell
can
us
tell me
about
you
the
planting
flowers
some
because we like
flowers.
to know.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't want
we
to know
like the
nothing else.
tips.
So.
Well, I like to know. Oh, here's the tip. So I just discovered this. I kind of felt like it was maybe a little bit of cannibalism, but I wasn't quite sure. So I asked my chat, hey, can I give banana water to my banana plant? And the chat was like, do it because they love it. So I made
Wait.
some banana water and then poured it on my banana plant. And sure fucking enough, within like 4 days, all three of them started budding new leaves. I was like, I don't know how I
So they
feel.
like eating their cousin?
Right. Because I
That's
gave
kind of
banana water
creepy.
to all my plants a couple of months ago, and I noticed that they all really liked it and perked up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put that in my rotation every 2 or 3 months because you don't want to give the soil too much potassium, right? But
Right.
now every 3, 4 months, I add some powdered eggshell and I pour some banana water on them. And so I decided to do it to the grapevines and the banana plants, and they freaking love it. Like they done perked up. The banana plants all got some new leaves coming in. Like this is less than a week ago. I was like, yo, That's kind of like a chicken eating its own egg, I feel like. But hey, if they like it, I love it, and we gonna keep doing this. I'm just saying, try it and see what happens.
Uh, mm, yeah, that is kind of, yeah. But not to help you out, but I would put me some pitches thistle or some shorts goldenrod on top of my little grave if I was gonna make one.
Some goldenrod or some what?
It's called shorts goldenrod or
Okay.
or some pitches thistle.
Pitcher I've heard of goldenrod.
Mhm.
I've not heard of pitcher stencil.
Yep. And then there's a thing called Mead's milkweed. I just
Oh,
gone and make me a little variety one, and so
I like
all
milkweed.
of them
Y'all,
endangered.
okay, have y'all ever seen a ponytail plant?
Is that one that look like a cattail? That little ugly one when they get wet?
No.
Oh, okay. Because there's one when you get wet, it look nasty, but when it's dry, it's pretty.
No, so the plant actually looks like somebody pulled its leaves up into a ponytail. Okay, yeah. So it's
A
really
weave
cute.
plant?
Huh?
A weave plant?
Girl.
You said it's a ponytail plant?
Yeah, so I'm gonna show y'all some pictures. I'm gonna do a little snippet hopefully tomorrow and just pop it on the channel so y'all can
Oh,
see.
I see it.
Yes, because I have 2 ponytail plants now. I have one baby that I got a couple months ago, and I have another baby that I just got, but she's like big.
It look almost like a spider plant.
Oh, they're so gorgeous. And you clip them just like you gotta, like, you clip your plants and tend to them. So I was giving her a haircut the other day and she perked up. I was like, oh, because I had to clip some brown ends and stuff like that.
So you talk to their ass.
I do. And I
You
sing to
got to
them too,
talk to
baby.
your
Listen,
Well,
you
plant.
gotta
mine
treat your
gonna
plants
die.
like you treat your
Mine
man.
gonna die because I don't talk to no plant.
You gotta
don't
treat
even
your
cuss
plants
out
like you
and
treat
shit.
your man, baby. Give him some attention.
Mm,
Oh.
He definitely gonna die.
mm.
What say you,
Definitely.
Sean? Because you done took a sip. What say you?
Yeah, no comment. I plead the fifth.
Oh,
The
Jesus.
fifth, the 14th, the 7th, the
Now,
18th. I
see,
plead
you
all that.
said, if I do recall correctly, ye said, I keep coloring books because if my woman want to chill out and relax and color, we gon' color. So if your woman says, I want to take care of some plants, you won't take care of no plants with your babe?
I didn't. I'm not saying that. Oh no, I thought you were talking about what Gypsy said. That's why I said I plead the fifth. No,
No,
plans.
we're not
Yeah,
talking.
I
We
don't.
gonna leave Gypsy by her.
Yeah,
No, we don't let that go.
yeah, I don't have no problem. Now, me, I'm used to farming. I can go out and grow you some lettuce and some cute, but the plant like in
Hey,
the house, a bag, but I don't have
yes,
no problem with it though.
that's what
You
I'm
know what I'm
talking about.
saying?
I'm gonna find me something to put in. So I have this pot that I've had for what year is this? So I've had
Nah,
it for 14 years, and
okay.
um, I need a plant to go in there. That's a house plant. For the longest time, so it was gifted to me when my mom passed away. And it had a oh shit, I can't even remember what that thing was called, but whatever.
Peace lilies.
Anyway, I
Most
know
people get peace lilies.
it was a yeah, that's what it had in there, a peace lily. And then when the peace lily died, I put a cactus in there. It was a cactus that I had for 9 years,
Oh,
And
and
you killed
it
it.
and it died on my last move back up here. Look, it has
oh,
survived moves back and forth to Georgia like 3 times and stuff, right? But the last move up here, it took a turn for the worse and it died. And so I haven't put another plant in there since. But I want a plant that is not difficult to take care of, that
Mary Jane.
would probably like eventually, because the planter is like this big, right? It's pretty
like
big.
peace lilies would be good. Snake plants would be
Yeah,
You
but
good.
can have
I
trees.
listen.
Pothos.
That piece lily only lasted like 6 months, so I think I'm a little too
Mm-hmm.
loud
Girl.
for. I think I'm a little
Mm.
too loud for a peace lily.
Okay, so like pothos would be good. Snake plants would be good. A cactus,
What
like
is
any
a
variety.
snake plant?
It's the tall ones that stand straight up in the air. You probably see them in a lot of hospital lobbies and like the open
Now I
atrium
don't
areas
want
for the
this bitch to look
cafeteria.
like no morgue or nothing.
No, girl,
Oh,
it's the
okay.
tall green ones that be really full, and they normally have them in like here the hospital, the big hospital here has them in the atrium area by the food cafeteria, like the open space by the tables where you can sit down.
Now keep in mind, my thumb is not green, so I
No, that's what I'm
need
saying. The snake plant, like
right.
you damn
Okay.
near got to ignore it forever today and chainsaw it to kill it. Like
Okay.
it can
So
tolerate dryness. It's
okay.
really, if you start with a baby and just water it every once in a
I
while,
want an
it'll
inside.
grow.
I want an inside plant. So I'm gonna go and ask you about a snake plant
I'm gonna
then.
send you a picture of mine because I got one of my
Okay.
students gave me a piece of hers and I propagated it in water, and then I pulled another one when it grew too. I propagated it a second time. So now I'm about to put them together in one pot so it can grow full. But it's in the house. But yeah, you gotta damn near chainsaw it to kill a snake plant. Like it really thrives with
Okay.
little care. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I see people like in these like little groups and stuff. I don't join none of them little planter groups or whatever because I ain't no plant person. But when you asked about the ponytail plant, there was a lady who posted on Facebook and she said, "Help, my ponytail plant has taken a turn for the worse. I fertilized it last fall and it started going downhill." That
That's the
bitch
problem.
look
She shouldn't have fertilized it in the
that
fall
bitch
because it's
look
preparing.
bad. When I tell you it look bad, it look bad. It's like yellow and brown. I was like, ooh,
No, she shouldn't have fertilized it in the fall. That's when it's
right.
preparing to go into kind of hibernation for the wintertime. You don't
So she
know.
just asked the question 3 days ago. So go in the house plant center and help her ass out. Tell her to get that bitch some banana water or some shit.
Oh my God.
But
Just, is
but
this how you
every
talk to
now
your
and then
man?
I do tap into some of these little groups or whatever, but I'm not a green thumb person. And
Gypsy.
I hate to say this because I'm not a green thumb person.
Mm-hmm.
If they decide to fuck with the food supply and I got to grow by it, I'm gonna
You
die.
shit out of luck.
I'm gonna die. I am. I'm gonna die. Because as soon as I run out of whatever's in here, I'm gonna die. Cause I
See, that's
can't.
why you gotta have the right friends. Everybody gotta come together.
Right, like I ain't be able to grow my food now. I help you cook it, but I ain't gonna be able to
Everybody,
grow
we
my
gotta
food.
come together, y'all. We gotta come together.
So you
Listen, but
can't
wait a
grow
minute.
and you cook.
Okay,
Shit.
I'm struggling, y'all, because guess what?
Hmm.
I went to Costco the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did they raise the price on my damn coffee, and coffee is astronomical. It's almost double the price it was at the beginning of the
Yeah.
summer. But they got a moratorium on rice, y'all.
What?
Wait, what?
Because we don't grow rice in the States. They got a moratorium on rice. You can't get more than 3 bags. At Costco, they sell them like 25-pound bags. You
Yeah.
can't get more than 3 bags of rice.
Why you
Wow.
need 75 pounds of rice?
That's what a lot of
You know
Asians
what?
and stuff.
I'm
Listen,
I'm
you can listen, let me tell you something. If you can't eat nothing else, you put rice and beans, rice and this,
that.
rice and that. Let me tell you something. When I was in the Navy, when it was one of them broke paydays or one of them broke days before payday, I would give me some rice and drink me some water. And I was full.
I mean, I feel you on that. Trust me. But if I can get 3 25-pound bags of rice,
You don't
nah,
know how
it's
many
just
people they trying to feed.
that's all I'm saying. It's just me, so that will last forever.
Right, but you don't know how many people be trying to feed and stuff. But like this is the stuff that we need to be paying attention to. Pay attention to the price of stuff that we do not grow in these states. Rice,
That's what.
bananas. So I don't know if your flower gonna be able to get no banana water soon. Cause when bananas start
Yeah.
going up in price because of the tariffs, you might be like, me or you, bro. Me or you.
No, see what I do is like, because I buy bananas by the bunch, like 2 or 3 when I catch them on sale. And what I do is I freeze them because I like to put them in my smoothies. So like just a tip for somebody like me that's saying, hey, I want to do like the facials with the banana peels or whatever. like not only do I freeze the banana peels, but now instead of just sitting them in the water, letting them soak, and then putting them in my compost, because I started a compost for my garden, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm thinking in my mind, like, no problem. I'll just start freezing the peels too. And that way I can take them out a little bit at a time for, doing the banana water every few months and then putting them in the compost once I use them. But like for me, I've just been doing it because I really wanted to be not only more sustainable, but just more accessible for the things that I enjoy. Like I have some grapevines and, I have the banana plants, and I've been researching, here in this 7B zone, like what can I do to nurture them, because I started them in buckets, and as we get more land to expand the garden, then I'll put them into the either the
You have
ground
a hot
or
house?
hmm,
Did you make a hot house?
we're about to build one. So we're going to build a
Okay.
greenhouse over the top of the garden that I have right now. And then, so I was out there to the nursery last week talking to a lady to finish getting all my details so we can start ordering the supplies to build a greenhouse. And I've been researching, like, once they have kind of gotten some sturdiness to them and they're ready to transplant, I can either put them in the ground under a greenhouse, or put them in those 55-gallon, um, they look like wheelbarrows, but they are, a lot of farmers now use them to put like their tree plants in, or their bigger, flowering plants in, to be able to move them outside for the season, and
Right.
then put them back into a greenhouse for the wintering, the overwintering. So, for me, I think we can't do it out of fear, but it's about learning to do a lot of the things that our parents and our grandparents did, that was sustainable, that was budget friendly. I think a lot of it can be romantic. If you have a person that's a fun thing to go to a nursery, or a home store, and look around at tools and supplies, look at appliances, look at the garden section, talk about your ideas. What's your favorite plant? Why, all those kind of things, right? You could go to a nursery where they have educational things in classes. Like, that's how I look at it. I think, because girl, like, I'm in my fifth year of having plants back in the house. Like, girl, I couldn't keep shit alive. I tried air plants, I tried aloe vera,
Yeah.
cactus, and they all damn died. And I was like, but I kept at it, right? I was spending a lot of money. And I was like, fuck this. And I just kept playing with it to figure out like because my grandmother had a huge aloe plant outside her house. She had a green
Mm-hmm.
thumb, like she had all that skill. And I was like, what the hell? Did it skip some generations? You know what I'm saying? Um, it just took me experimenting to figure out how to find that rhythm with my plants. And so now I have plants inside the house. I've got some on the front porch and on the deck. We've got the garden spot. And I have started to include my friends in it. Like, I have roped one of my besties here into being my garden buddy. So like,
My
so
mom
like,
used to grow tomatoes and stuff. I can't
yes,
do it. Tomatoes and peppers, and like
all of
she would
that.
start them out in like little pots, and then she had these little wires that they was like
Hmm.
little cones, and she used to build these little wires and stuff. And my aunt used to have a whole garden in her backyard where she had a row of greens and a row of tomato plants and some
Yeah.
cucumbers and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just didn't inherit that skill set.
Mm.
But
You was
I'm
too
just,
busy in them streets.
huh?
You was too busy in them streets.
Oh my God.
But I did inherit how to cut it, how to cut it. No, let me stop. Nah, nah, but seriously, that just never was not my forte. But I was like really analytical and stuff, so
Yeah.
I'm more of like analysis and
Hey,
data and
Alicia.
all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I just can't. I wish I could had gotten some of those other
Ugh.
skill sets, but yeah,
For
there's.
me, it's been about slowing myself down, honestly, because I'm such a busybody. ADHD. I'm a Sagittarius, so we're wanderers and adventurers and wanderlust, and we're always wanting to do something new and explore something, right? And so,
Mhm.
for me, I was really struggling to find joy in just being still. And the crazy part is I am an extreme introvert. So I really don't have a problem. I could be at home sitting in silence all day. Um, I can read a book, I can listen to my audiobook or watch TV or be working zoned in, right? But when it kicks into the manic part of the ADHD and I'm like, oh, I got all these ideas and I want to do stuff, that was hard to find my balance. So for me, it was about intentionally slowing myself down and paying more attention to the moments because and that's why I was struggling with my plants. They was all dying. Like I would forget to water them, or either I was over water them and doing too much to them and not paying attention to whether they were getting sunlight and, and so it gave me the opportunity to really just be more aware. And honestly enough, as it relates to our topic of sex, intimacy, power, and pleasure, right? Or pleasure and power. For me, I also realized that that was the biggest complaint that I had in my relationships, or that people had concerning me in my relationships, that I was never really present. Like, even though I was there, I wasn't emotionally connecting, right? And so, like, shut up. So, so paying attention to
No,
the
it's funny
plants
you say that. I'll
made
tell
me
you
get
why
back
in
to
a
the
minute.
focus. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just my learning experiment, right? And I found that as I have learned to listen to their needs and be aware of them and present with them, it has allowed me to be more present differently with people. So win-win.
Well, when I was watching Wednesday, I told you, I'm analytical.
Yes.
Now, my niece has already watched season 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm thinking ahead and I'm calling her and I'm like, hey, I think it's such and such, such and such. Remember, I texted you earlier by accident and I said wrong,
Yeah.
Jasmine? Right.
Yeah.
And so, and she said, just watch it. And then her and my sister, because I FaceTimed them and I was like, hey, I was watching and I'm on episode da 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 da, and this is what I think. And then my sister said, slow down, stop thinking ahead, and take it in. And she said, and you'll be okay, but you got to be present in the moment and watch what it is that's going on. And
Mm-hmm.
that's my thing, is like that over anticipation, if that makes sense. Like trying to be prepared for all the things that may go wrong, like trying to look at all the different scenarios of stuff. That's probably why I kill my plants. That's probably why I kill my relationships. That's probably why, I mean, I overthink stuff.
I get that. I get
And
And,
that.
and I mean, I
I was
gotta
gonna
say
say,
this.
Sean, you
I
want to
hate when
weigh
people. No, I just hate when people like I'm analytic. Like I can't speak for nobody else. I can only speak for myself. My brain is always on. It's always on.
in?
So to me, and I know this is fucking naive or whatever, but I think everybody kind of be in that same kind of place. Like you're always thinking. Now, I've run across a bunch of dumbasses that have proved me wrong. So I know that's not the case. But for the most part, the people that I deal with, that I hang around, that I converse with, I like to say conversate, but I know that's not a word. So the people I converse with, we're always thinking. We're always thinking. So everybody's mind's always going a million miles a minute. It's just what you actually choose to say, hey, let me pay attention to this. Let me pay attention to this. Let me pay attention to this. You could do five different things at one time. I could read a book and have a full blown conversation with you, not skip a beat on either one.
Oh, wow.
See, I can't do that anymore. I used to be able to do that, but I can no longer do that. And I find myself, and a perfect example of that is, I know y'all have seen the meme of, damn, I got to keep rewinding this show because every time I rewind it, I miss it again because I picked up my phone, right? And that's me. Like, I'll rewind the same scene like 50 fucking times because I'm responding to an email on my phone, or somebody's calling me or texting me, or I'm trying to, do whatever it is. And then I miss something, like, shit. So I'm rewinding it over and over, or I'm listening to somebody and then I'm like, this isn't working. 1 second. Let me just send this email or respond to this text,
Mhm.
because now the way that, and it is, so sidebar, this is why I advocate for people, if you feel like you are struggling to understand your thought processes or how your cognitive functioning is working, um, you feel like your capacity is being diminished or changed, I do advocate for people to check, and see if they want to get tested for ADHD, any number of other things, right? Because, hey, fam, because what ends up happening is I used to be great at it. I could stop mid sentence with one person, respond to somebody else, and get
Right.
back and pick up my point and keep going. And because I have changed, as we do, we evolve, right? That's not how my brain is able to occupy its strength at the moment. And so for me, the being in the relationship, to tie back to our topic, being in the relationships, I always felt like I was present. Like, I'm listening to you, I'm talking to you, I'm engaged, and I'm hanging out, we're doing all things, life is great, yay. But there was still a very big part of me that has, it's just always been reserved. I'm internal, right? And so dealing with my plants and having to slow myself down and be mindful and figure out what each different, because they're just like people, they all have different personalities. And so figuring out what each plant needed, where it wants to sit in the house, how much sunlight does it like? Does it like to be up higher? Does it like to be lower? Does it like to be clipped every 6 months or every other week? Does it like water once a month or every 2 days? Like, plants are fucking dramatic. I have one that she faints if she doesn't get enough water when she wants to get it. Like, all her leaves will go like this. And then when she gets enough water, she's all up in and waving with the fan and doing all kind of shit, right? So all of that allowed me to slow down and focus on, okay, nothing else matters, but let me do this one thing in this moment. And then I was able to translate that to, okay, this is what it looks like for me and feels like for me to be present in the moment with another human being, whether it be a girlfriend or my boo, or who, because I know how to do it with my clients. I've done that for 25 years. I got that on lock. But I think I was just disconnecting because that is so intense. Everything else was like, so this has
Right.
taught me how to be more present and centered in all the other areas of my life. But you
But
got to figure out if it makes sense for you.
it's funny because when you said that, I just thought about the fantasy versus the reality, because a lot of times I find myself disconnecting when the reality of the relationship doesn't measure up to the fantasy that I thought it would be. And then I just mentally check out, not on purpose, but I've found myself not checking out. I mean, not checking in when the reality is just not there, if that makes sense. Because
Okay.
um
Can I
a
ask you a
lot of
question?
times,
Because I'm trying to reframe it to
well,
make sure I
okay, so
understand.
let me
It's
explain
not
this.
that I don't understand. I
No,
understand
wait.
completely. It's just I feel like I'm just gonna be honest. I feel like it's a cop up.
Oh, okay.
It's not a cop
Well,
out. The thing is that um
so can I ask you a question? Because
okay, so
I think
wait,
you might be getting ready to explain it.
let me just explain this real quick.
Okay, yeah.
The thing about me is that once I hit a bump in the road, it's very easy for me to disconnect, which is very bad. Which is
Mm-hmm.
very bad because once I get to the disconnect, remember what I was saying earlier when I was saying that don't circle the block on me, because when I was present the first time and you just didn't, it didn't measure up or whatever, and you left or we split or whatever, it'll never go back to that again. And that's the same way if I've mentally checked out. So I'll mentally check out before I physically do. Ask my ex-husband. I was mentally gone long before the divorce papers. Mentally, when I mentally check out, I'll go through the motions of being there, but I'm not there.
So, my question was going to be: do you feel like you put them on a pedestal based on
Yep.
whatever it is that you're looking for? the qualities that you thought they had, whatever the reasons, you put them on this pedestal, and then when they can't live up to it, because that's the impossibility, right? So when
Right.
they can't live up to it, now you're judging them based on a standard they never could have met in the first place, which is
Right.
off place, which is almost like you're setting them up to fail. Do you think you do that intentionally?
Probably because it's a lot easier to say, "Ha, I was right. I knew you wasn't shit," than it is to stay and work at it. I mean, I'm being honest. It's a lot easier to just throw in the towel and be like, all right, I'm out.
And that's why I say it's a cop out. I mean, granted, it's a self defense mechanism. You want to protect your feelings, but at the same time, you vested your feelings in the beginning, but now you feel like, oh, they didn't do this or they didn't do that, so I got pulled back to protect myself.
That's no fair, Sean, because you've known me over 30 years. So that's no
I'm
fair.
not. See, I wasn't talking about you. I'm talking in general. So I can't help if the shoe fit. I'm just talking in general because you're not the only woman that does
Okay. Oh
that.
Lord.
And I'm speaking from a man's point of view. When he's like, hold on, wait, because just like okay, we may have had plans tonight, but all right, I'm not feeling up to it. Now it's like, oh, fuck this nigga.
Men do that
Okay,
too, though.
but at the same, like, so, and that's what I'm saying because, hold on, wait, that's what I'm saying
Everybody's
because,
not Holly Berry.
hold on, hold on,
What the hell
okay,
does
I
that
ain't get,
mean?
I know, I ain't get that analogy, but what I'm saying is, if that was me and that happened, I'm gonna be like, okay, cool, fuck it, I'll see you when I get to see you. I'm not gonna be mad and pissed off like, oh, fuck, what's your, oh, fuck that. I'm gonna take my ball and go home. I'm not gonna do that.
I'm just saying, when I said everybody's not Holly Berry, men also have these unrealistic expectations. They think everybody is Claire Huxtable or Holly Berry. And no,
Okay.
Okay,
everybody's, listen,
I don't know what kind of nigga
everybody
she
has
dealing
what
with.
they believe is their epitome of the perfect spouse or the perfect mate.
So
I'm just saying, maybe people be setting they shit too high. I don't know because I don't know. I mean, for me,
so
I
let me
I mean,
respond to that,
I
Sean, because I think so. I think people be setting their standards way too fucking high for where they are in life. Now, does that mean if you're a two, you can't shoot your shot with a perceived 10? No. But I choose to think that if we have a certain standard in mind that we want our person to meet, then we damn sure need to be coming to the experience with something that they may want from us. And the reason I say that, so somebody shared a picture, of, like a screenshot of some dude, and he looked like Elmer Fudd's cousin, in my perception. And he had the nerve to be talking about you can't be taller than you can't be any taller than 5'4". You can't weigh over like 140 pounds, whatever. You got to be making this much money. You got to be either no kids, or if you have kids, the daddy got to be dead. You got to be willing to take care of my kids and be a good, like, he had this list of shit. And I was like, he either did this to go fucking viral or he's insane. Because looking at him, I can't figure out how he would think that anybody that meets the qualifications that he's listing would want him. Like, sir, are
and
you
I think a
delusional?
lot. I think a lot of shit be clickbait. I think a lot of people say
I
crazy
really
shit
commented and said that he
just
either
to get
did
the
this to go
views.
viral or he really is insane.
No, I really think they do that because if you think like that, then you really not looking for nobody. You just out here talking shit.
And what I told my friend the other day, I said dudes will be a two. I was just saying this in general, right? Because I was looking at this dude shooting his shot at
No,
somebody,
they will.
and
Yeah.
he was like, in my eyes, he needed to go work on his stuff. Like, he looked like he didn't need to be focusing on nothing with nobody. He needed to go deal with self. But he was really out there trying to shoot his shot with this lady, and she looked like she was so far outside of his league. And I was like, dude, and she let him down gently, but it was crazy as hell. And I was like, dudes will look like A2. I'm talking about going through some things, like they got mange and change, but they will shoot their shots. Whereas women in the gym trying to work out, wearing fajas and
Right.
all this shit, having surgery and going to the extreme to try to look like what they think a man want. And it's crazy. Um, my perfect mate is Miranda Miller, my wife, and she ain't perfect, neither am I. I love that. Love that.
That's
And that's really what it should be. Like, nobody's perfect. But a friend of mine told me this like 15, 16, 17 years ago, something like that. She said, you got to find the person that has the rocks that fits the holes in your head, and vice versa. Because we all got a little crazy. We all got issues and problems. But you have to find the person that is compatible enough that they can deal with your issues and you can deal with theirs, right? You're perfect together.
I ain't crazy. I'm eccentric. Fuck that.
I'm happy to let you continue to believe that.
Mm.
I have so many things I want to say. No, it's not.
You know you set yourself up with that one, Sean, right? So if she comes
So
shooting
many
shots at
things
you,
to
you
say.
Nah,
can't
fuck
even
that.
say nothing.
I'm eccentric. Fuck that. I ain't crazy. Y'all crazy. It ain't me.
Oh, is we the problem? Okay, sir, we
Uh-huh.
the problem. Yes.
Yeah, I saw this video where this woman said you gotta have what she said, you gotta have you a trick, a treat, and a sponsor.
Ooh. I
Yeah.
mean, she's not
So
wrong, but the point is, do you want
all
them in
women,
different people or all one person?
no, all women gotta have a trick, a treat, and a
And a
sponsor, and they all
sponsor.
different people. So
Good now.
the the treat might hit you off with like $500. The trick might hit you off between 500 and 5,000, and the treat pay everything.
Ain't that
Not the
the
treat, the
sponsor?
sponsor. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
sponsor. I would say the
Okay.
truth because that shit ain't make no sense to me. But I'm like, okay. And she's saying all women gotta have all three. And I'm like, what kind of bullshit is that? But I mean, that's society. Society has they have figured out how to make us battle each other. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
fuck a broke nigga. Yeah. You can't have no James Evans no more. No nigga that go out here and work hard when he got a job.
Hmm.
Wow.
You can't have no stand up man that's gonna be there and be a father to his family. And maybe he might get laid off here or there, but he ain't never gave up. Shit, James
Hmm.
Evans used to go hustle pool to make money,
He did what he had
even
to
though
do.
Florida,
But I think
even
even
though
in that,
Florida didn't want him to.
but look, even in that, I think you make a good point because a lot of these dudes will be like, why you can I, so I seriously have known multiple women in marriages where their husband had one job, but he wasn't making a lot of money. And so they had a full time job and a part time job or two full
Hmm.
time jobs. And they were making it work to cover the ends in the house. And I'm like, that's crazy as hell. And I'm not saying it's wrong. You like it, I love it. Do what works for you and float your boat. But that would never be like, I just can't see myself in a situation where my man is saying, I'm the provider and I'm the head of the household and I'm the leader, but I'm working two jobs while he's sitting at home when I'm at my second job. How the fuck does that make sense? Like, that's how my mind works. But again, I think a lot of it is how we're raised, the culture, the community we grow up around, what we personally want and desire. And so when I see things like that, I'm like, listen, you like it, I love it. Do what works for you. But we have to
You,
recognize that different strokes for different folks.
you know
Right.
why television shows are called programs?
Hmm.
Huh? You know why
You said
television
what?
shows are television shows are called programs?
Because that's what they do is they program us.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right.
And so they make you think as black people this is what it's gotta be. But the interesting thing is we built Black Wall Street off of not being that shit, being people coming together and working together and making millions.
Yeah.
That's
But
But
why they
at
but
the
burn
end
it
of the
they
down.
day, there's no one right. Like for some men, they're gonna say, I can't be with a woman if she's not contributing to the bills. There are other men that are gonna say, You could work if you want to. You ain't got to work if you don't want to, because I got us. I can do whatever it take. I make
and
enough
and,
money. There are other
and
people that want 50-50. Like, there's no right or wrong.
if he got it like that, fine. But if it's 50-50, fine too.
That's why I said there's no right or wrong. I think a lot of people get caught up in the debate. I don't want it.
And
Like, if that's what works for
and
you, do that. But you
and
have
if
to
and
be
if
willing to
and
figure
if,
out what
and
you
if
need and want.
he the stay at home dad, fine.
Do it. That's why I think a lot of people get caught up in the
But
debate. I think a lot of people
that's
get caught
it's
up in the optics of it.
but that's the thing though. Why is it that okay? I mean, to each his own, fine. Okay, but it should never be a thought process that that's what you want in any
Well,
situation. It should never be a thought process. If that's what it is, then that's what it is. But you shouldn't be going out here looking for, nah, I need a 6 figure nigga to take care of me. You shouldn't be doing that. Just like niggas should be
so
going out here like, nah, I'm gonna be a stay at home dad. Fuck that. Nah, you shouldn't be doing that.
I'm gonna give you an example. So I'm 45. I'll be 46 in December, right? And one of my friends said, "You made up your mind. You're not having kids, right?" I said, "Yeah." Baby factory closed.
Okay, okay.
And she said, "But what if you get married and your new husband wants to have a baby?" And I said, I'm good. I'm good without any kid. I'm good. I got these
Mm.
dogs there enough, and I'm ready to move into a bigger house so they access can go outside too, because I'm over it, right? I done had dogs in the house 14 years. But anyway, I digress. So what I shared with her was, my automatic reaction is I don't want no kids. But if I choose to marry someone and his heart's desire is to try to have a child, or he says, "Baby, I really want us to have a child." Well, clearly I'm not going to birth any, but I said he would have to come to the table with a lot of money. And she said, "Why?" I said, "Because one, he either finna pay for a surrogate or adoption. That takes money. And
Right.
two, he gonna be paying for a nanny. Because I'm
Ooh.
about to be 46. So whenever I get married, I'm not listening. I'm not finna be around here with raccoon eyes, sleep deprived, and pissed off at the world because I'm not getting no sleep because of a newborn. No, baby, we're gonna have a nanny. We're gonna have help. So if my new husband decides that that's what he wants, I'm willing to co-create that experience with him. But he gonna damn sure come to the table with a lot of money to help make that dream happen into reality. So I'm sharing that as one simple example of it is okay to know what you want and be steadfast about it. Like, I'm not finna be with nobody and they be like, "Baby, I want to have a baby," but he making $30,000 a year. That's not realistic for the lifestyle that I already have. And talking about introducing a child into that reality in the state that our society exists in financially, that's fucking insane to me. So
But
I
if
think it
you
is
don't want
absolutely okay for
kids,
women to be like, he got to make some money if he want to talk about having
but
kids and buying houses
but
and
if
stuff.
you don't want kids, why would you deal with somebody that want kids?
That part.
Because again, for me, I've gone back and forth, right? There was a time in my life where I truly desired to have a child. So now I've had a hysterectomy. I'm not birthing nobody's babies unless Jesus decides to come down himself and be like, "I'm finna give you an immaculate conception." It ain't finna happen.
That wasn't Jesus. That was God. He's an angel.
I was being facetious. Get with the damn program, Sean. Anywho,
There's that
like I
part.
was saying, I think it's just a simple fact of, for me, life is not set in stone. It's easy to say, "I don't want no kids." But if I were to truly decide that I loved someone, I think love involves compromise, not settling, but compromise. So depending on the circumstances we have, it could be realistic to have a child. But also depending on when I get married in those circumstances, it might be a hell motherfucking no, go find somebody else to play with. It just
But
depends
see,
on how the dice
that's the
roll.
thing. Because if I'm a man and I know I want to have a kid, and you tell me you had a hysterectomy, we ain't having no kids. Fuck it, it's over. Like why pursue it? Why go forward with it? And then
Right.
now we gotta go through all this extra bullshit.
Yeah. And I'm
Now don't get me
absolutely okay
wrong,
if I meet mine and he like, "Baby, we ain't gotta worry about it." Rock star. But if I choose to love someone that says, "Hey, can we have this conversation?" Again, it's not set in stone. I'm just giving this as one random example of fantasy versus reality, right? We all have these things in our head that if life was perfect, this is what it would look like. But we have to
I,
recognize that that is very rarely what life looks like in the everyday experiences. And so you got to be willing to talk to people. You got to be willing to compromise. That's just one random example.
Yeah, but
but I mean,
And I'm
everybody,
you
saying who
did.
has no kids. I'm just saying that would be what the conversation was if I was to even entertain it.
well, everybody has a list of non-negotiables though. And there's just,
Exactly.
that's the whole thing is that sometimes people have a list of non-negotiables. However, um, depending on what that potential spouse, what qualities that potential spouse has, sometimes they try to move the goalposts on their non-negotiables. It was non-negotiable when you was talking to Sean the bus driver, but Sean the billionaire, you gonna make, you know what I'm saying? You gonna make exceptions? Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Your non-negotiables should not be moving.
So you have to figure out this is what I tell people when they're dating. You got to have your non negotiables, you got to have your must haves, and then you got to have your third column, which is your gray area. These are the things that I could go either way depending on the circumstances and the person, right? Having children for me is not a non-negotiable. That's a gray area for me.
It's for me.
I'm clearly not finna birth any, but in the right circumstances, do I think about, yes, it would be nice to have children to carry on the legacy that I want to build with my farm and my businesses and all the things? Absolutely. That is still very much a thing in the back of my mind. And so, with the right person in the right circumstances, that might happen. But I've also made peace that if I don't have children, then spirit will align the opportunities to have the right people in place to carry on the legacies that I create to keep them gone, long after I'm keep them going long after I'm gone. So again, everybody should have your non-negotiables, your must-haves, and then your gray area of here's what I feel and what I think, but it shifts based on the person and the experience and the circumstances. Because I think you're right. Sean, the bus driver, is very different from Sean, the farmer, Sean, the billionaire, Sean, the executive. Maybe not always because of the money, but often because of personality. The money is a bonus, but a lot of times people will choose somebody different that actually makes less money because of personality and how that person makes them feel and experience, right? Fantasy versus reality.
I do know, I do know that for me, it's more important to be able to share life experiences with someone than what their bank account looks like, because for me, I found that the more money they have, the more arrogance and demands that they have.
And that's
And
Sometimes.
because of the dynamic that society has set up. And
right,
that's what I be trying to say. Like, 'cause this motherfuckers out here, they got money and shit. Just like that bullshit ass, what was it, 50 Shades of Grey? Oh, 'cause he this multi-millionaire with this power company. Oh, I'm gonna, you know, any bitch I fuck with, she gotta be in the BDSM. And oh,
Mm-hmm.
if you not, you gonna be into it.
right.
Fuck out of here. Like what?
And that
Yeah,
that's
but
the
we can't label everybody. Like, there's a lot of people with money that are just as humble, just as chill. You'll never know they got it.
Now
Chill,
that's
great
true. That
personalities.
is true.
And then there's
that
people that are
is
straight
true,
assholes.
but
Money
that
doesn't make
is
you, money
true.
just gives you opportunity to be more of yourself out loud.
I
But that
mean,
is true. But
but how
right,
many motherfuckers was hanging out at Epstein Island?
And
right.
who?
Epstein's Island. That's
Right.
what,
That's why
like for
I
real,
say money don't
Or
make you
Diddy's
you.
house. Cause
Money
like,
gives you opportunity to be who you already was, just more out loud with it. It gives
cause
you
like,
access and
cause
resources.
like Cardi told Bia, she heard that he combed that little kitty out. Hey, I'm just saying.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm a Cardi B fan, and one of her diss tracks when she said I'm pretty and I'm petty as fuck. She said, "Why you always hanging out at Diddy house?" I heard he combed that little kitty out.
Who are we
Right.
talking about?
Her name is Bia. Cardi B said that about her.
Who is
That girl
B?
had Cardi B's name in her mouth anyway. But I'm just saying. So I'm just saying there are people who compromise a lot of things when people have money. And that's why when people were saying, hey, well, all these women that stayed around Diddy, if he was that horrible to them, why did they stay around? Duh, because he had money and it was a lifestyle that they wanted. And so, yeah, they put up with stuff and they change based on the accommodations to the lifestyle that they also wanted to achieve.
That's my whole point. Is fuck that. Why are you gonna
Right.
compromise yourself as a person because somebody got money? I'd rather live in a cardboard box. Fuck that.
But there are people out here who do. And I told you, I have a friend that works in the industry, and she used to always tell me Hollywood ain't for everybody. And it's some stuff that you got to be able to compromise. And I was like, not my morals, not my ethics. There are certain things that I'm just not going to give up on, but there are some who will.
Mean, at
And
the end of the day, I still stand on. I believe money doesn't change you. It simply gives you the opportunity to be more of yourself. If you was gonna be a pervert, you was gonna be a pervert whether you have money or not. Money just gives you more ways to play around with it and express it. If you're gonna be an ass, you was an ass without money. Money just gave you a bigger way to be an ass. If you're genuine and you're kind and compassionate, money gives you the ability to share more of that with people. Money just gives you access and resources. It does not make you who you are. That's
but
you.
but
That's your
this
personality.
but again, um it allows people to flex their fantasy versus
Sure.
what it is that they what the reality is, because again, the fantasy probably was, oh, I'm gonna have a guy that has money that'll be able to accommodate me and this that, and the other, and he's gonna love me and he's gonna do this and he's gonna do that. But when he mistreats him, I mean, we've all had somebody that we stayed with a little bit too long,
Yeah.
knowing that we weren't getting what it was that we thought we were going to get. And part of that fantasy is that we can change them. That is part of life's fantasy. A lot of times
I
when
agree with that.
people think about this, when people stay with someone too long, it's because in their mind they can change what it is that they've already seen that that person is going to be to them.
But that's not always the case because some people do believe in unconditional love. Some people really do. For most people, it's got a condition on it, but some people really do believe in unconditional love.
I'm talking about people who've overstayed knowing that this is not what I thought I was getting. This is not what I signed up for. But if I stay and I continue to play this role, maybe he or she will come around. Maybe he or she will see my value. Maybe he or she will give me what it is I thought I was getting. Because
But you hold on, wait. You see how I said what I said, and you still trying to rationalize it as something else? I mean, that's just the thing. That's what happens. Like, why are you trying to rationalize it? And that be the problem. People be trying to rationalize shit as something else than what it really is.
So
but that's what I
I
mean. That's why I
also want
said
to
fantasy
say,
versus reality.
I also want to say, I think a lot of times the fantasy involves the potential that they thought they saw in the person, or that the potential that the
Mhm.
person maybe even at some point in time expressed, right? And then life happens. That's so a random example that most people could readily identify with would be, the two people that got together in high school and they were voted prom king and queen, most beautiful, or she was the head cheerleader and he was the football captain or the basketball captain or whatever, right? Like all pro sports. And he was supposed to go pro and like be this great dude, had this scholarship in college, and then that knee injury happens or he breaks his ankle and never recovers, whatever the fuck happens. How many people
Mhm.
have married that person thinking that even though they won't go pro, or even though they didn't do this, they're still gonna be amazing, right? How many men have married that woman because she was the cheerleader captain or whatever the case may be, and she had this fine ass body, and she wanted to be a lawyer, she wanted to do this, and then when she had 3 or 4 babies, and she was tired as fuck, righteously so, taking care of them kids, them them rugrats or crotch goblins as people like to call them. Then now he's mad because she didn't go to fulfill these dreams that she had. And so I think a lot of times people marry the potential and that becomes the fantasy. Nadina said that should be talked about before walking down the aisle. This question is so crazy it kills me. All ass niggas want kids and damn near 50.
That's
And
because
I
they
think
realize they
so.
old and they want somebody to
But
take care of their ass, and
this
they
ain't
and yeah.
this ain't build a nigga or build a bitch workshop.
But listen
Yeah.
though, listen. So Nadita, I think so. You got to understand. You also have to include. Not only is it older dudes marrying at 50 because they waited. You got to realize that a lot of women are marrying younger men, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that woman may have had children, but he may still be in his 20s or 30s and not have had children yet,
Ooh,
or
that's
he
the
may have
pedestalish.
or he may sometimes people in the military doing service, you know what I'm saying? And so once they get out after they've given all this stuff to the career, now they're like, damn, I never slowed down to have a family, so it's still time. And here's the thing I want to challenge about that, because here in the US, we are taught that, after a certain age, women are geriatric pregnancies and, geriatric mothers. First of all, what the fuck is wrong with that term? Because they not calling men geriatric dads with their sperm. You know what I'm saying? So I think we have to challenge, why do we think that 50 is old to have a child? Yes, yes, rightfully so. We have to consider that they're going to be fucking 80 when that baby is 30 years old. But like if they in Janet Jackson position or Halle Berry's position, or even just have a reasonable financial wellness in their life, they are absolutely equipped. I would rather see 250-year-olds that are financially stable have a baby than 225-year-olds that's living in a cardboard box, right?
Right.
On their third. And so, and I'm giving the extreme to show like at either point there's going to be struggle, whether it's about having a child or finances or differences in the sexual prowess, of both people. One person's an introvert, the other person's an extrovert. One person loves to travel, the other person's a homebody. Like there's always going to be differences, but I wholeheartedly agree with Nadina with the fact that people have to talk about this shit. Y'all been hearing me say this ever since we started this After Dark series. I think there needs to be a lot more talking and a lot less fucking, because people are jumping into bed, having all these babies and getting married and starting these relationships and getting engaged and doing all this shit, and they don't really know each other. Because how have y'all been together 3 years and you never knew that person didn't want kids or did want kids or wanted to go to Uganda when they turned 30, and now you mad because they ready to go to Uganda? Like, why are these things not being discussed? What are your goals? What are
Well,
your dreams, your desires?
don't be stealing my cardboard box, and B, I understand. Yeah, and that's my whole thought process. You gotta, because in the beginning we have these conversations, and that's one of the things. Like I have this conversation with a lot of male friends. Like you gotta be talking about this shit up front.
Right.
And if you ain't talking about, well, how you gonna talk about? Like, nah, fuck that. I need to know up front. Like, yo, you suck dick? Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. Well, this conversation pretty much is over.
But
Cause
some people say what you want to hear,
and
thinking
that's when
Yeah.
they send a representative.
they either say what you want to hear, or at the time that you ask, they say how they're feeling, and at that time, hey, she may still want kids, but 3 years later, she decided after hanging out with her sister and her sister's badass kids, now I don't want no motherfucking kids.
She be like, them crotch
But you,
You
goblins,
know what
I
I'm
don't want
saying?
none. I'm
but you
good.
need to say that. You need to say, you know what? I'm the way I'm feeling right now. I don't want to have no
Yeah.
kids. It gives me the opportunity to say, you know what? I do want kids, so I love you to death, but this ain't gonna work because if you feel like you don't want kids and I do, it's just not gonna work. Because at that point, what? Now I'm gonna force you to have kids, and you're gonna be like, oh, I never wanted a kid. Now I'm a single dad, and you done ran the fuck off with the milkman.
Well, you said you wanted kids. She told you she didn't. Shit, she gave you
Yeah,
what
but
you wanted.
that's what I'm saying. In the beginning, she said she did, but then 3 years later, she said she don't.
Well,
Then
again,
we
like
got
Jazz said,
we got to
this
talk
thing,
about it.
like, well, the thing is like in the beginning she did, but after
But
time
see,
and
and that's what we
circumstances,
gotta
and
talk about it. You gotta let me know. She can't sit there and be feeling that way and don't say shit. And then every time I'm trying to have a kid, she not.
it's
But she ain't
different.
saying shit.
It's different when you're a dual income, no kid household, and then all of a sudden,
You
you
got a
get used
kid,
to
of
being a
course. That's
dual
different.
income, no kid household, and you be like, I really like this. I like to be able to just get up and go. That's why there are some people that they will never get a pet because
Yeah.
they want to be able to go when they want to go, and they don't want to have to worry about
Oh,
dog sitters and
oh,
think
you ain't
about this.
raising
You
your
don't
pets.
want to worry about no
You ain't
kids
raising
either.
you ain't raising your pets right. Now you can't leave them too long, but you ain't raising your pets right. You can't leave them for at least a week by themselves. Trust me, they got all the food and water they need, and they know exactly what to do. If you ain't raising right, you can't leave them at least for a week by themselves. Sure, everything will be fine. You come home, they like, yeah, everything fine. They like, yeah, that's what I expected. That's
But
how I
see,
raise my animals.
but
Cat,
see,
dog, it don't matter.
but see, that's what I'm saying is that life changes people. If you'd have told me 10 years ago,
Conversation.
hold on. If you'd have told me 10 years ago I was gonna be a dog mom, I'd have been like, you shitting me, not the fuck me. No goddamn dog. I love my
Conversation.
dogs. Love them. Love
No,
them.
see,
And
a
yes,
relationship. I'm gonna put it this way: a relationship is a two-way street, motherfucker. Conversation. That's it.
okay.
Talk. People don't fucking talk. I don't know what the fuck they scared of. What the fuck is on their mind? I have no fucking clue. But fucking talk. But at
I
the
think
same
it's the
time,
insecurity of not
be
being enough. I
be
think
Right.
that's what most
receptive.
people are battling and
Nah,
why they
nah,
don't share.
nah. Be receptive too, because it's not
Yeah,
just you.
absolutely.
It's two
Absolutely.
people.
So what I'm saying, Sean, I'm wholeheartedly agreeing with you. I'm saying I think oftentimes people are battling that insecurity of not feeling like they're going to be enough for the person that they're communicating with or the person that they desire, right? And I'm all about get your shit together so you're the best thing since sliced bread walking the face of this earth, right? They're
Right.
lucky. I joke, but I'm always like, you are lucky to be in the pleasure of my company. Like, and I'm fucking me. You get on board with that, right? Sure said this happened to a couple. He wanted children and she did not. He kept asking. She told him, I will give you this child and I am leaving. They discussed it down to a T. She gave him his child. Yeah.
Wow.
So that happens all the time, right? I think a lot of that can be avoided by just being honest enough to say we don't need to get married because this is a non-negotiable for me, where it's a gray area for them, and I know I'm not going to change my mind. Or sometimes people just need to, to stay single. Hold on. She said she got home, packed her bags, and left. He said, I thought she would change her mind. No, and that's the other problem. Listen to fucking people when they tell you what they mean. Listen to people. Don't assume you're going to change their mind. Don't assume that they're not just sure. No, listen to people when they tell you. If they
Right.
tell you they're not sure, it's because they're still thinking it through. If they say no, it's a motherfucking no. If they say yes, then go with what they're saying, right? But going back to the communication, that's just like dogs. You got to talk about dogs and cats and rats and lizards. If my person said, baby, I want to get a snake, ain't no motherfucking way I'm finna live in a house with no damn snakes. That's a hell no to the no, no, no to the ain't no never way in hell no. So that person is gonna have to recognize you either giving up the dream of having snakes in the house or you need to go find somebody else because we are not compatible, right? I have 3 dogs. Even though I want to move on a farm and put my dogs outside, they're still gonna be part of the family. Anybody that I marry has to be able to handle the fact that there are going to be dogs in the vicinity and we're going to go out there and bathe them and make sure they got food and they're going to be running around and barking and tearing shit up outside. So conversations. And it's tripping me out how a lot of people will be like, I didn't know they had a pet. Did y'all talk at all? Well, I didn't know that his mom lived in Delaware, and when we got married, he wanted to move her into the basement.
Oh,
Did y'all talk? Or was y'all just fucking? Because at
That's
what
my
point
point.
was that
right.
not discussed? Right. So I think a lot of times people withhold information because they think if I tell this person, they're gonna run away. And so they think, well, I'll wait and then they'll love me and they'll just go along with it. Or they
Man,
withhold information because
fuck
they feel like
that.
they're not gonna be enough.
Fuck that. I'd rather be upfront. So, because if you gonna leave, leave now. Before I can get
Facts.
too invested, now my feelings hurt. The
Facts.
fuck? Fuck out of
Right.
here.
I think
Right.
and I also will throw out I think people don't want to be alone. And so a lot of times they settle for something that they know that they don't want. They'll settle for their A, B, or C plan instead of waiting for the person that is their A plan because they're afraid, well, I'm never going to meet what I really, really want. So I'll settle for this. I'll settle for this man. I'll settle for this woman. And I
Your
think
A
that breeds
plan,
resentment.
your A plan should always be that no matter what, I got me.
Facts.
Facts.
So anything else is a fucking plus, and I'll see what that's about. That's what your A plan should be.
Listen, I'm telling you, let me tell it. I'm like, I'm the best thing since sliced bread, baby. Can't nobody touch me. Like, get on the program. If you want me, you got to understand it's a pleasure to be in my company. It is a pleasure to have me around you. Like, what are we talking
Right.
about here? Right. But and I'm joking, but I'm also very serious. Like, it kind of goes along with a lot of the dads you see now. The girl dads are like, I'm showing my daughter what it feels like to be loved because you'll never be able to trick her just by telling her she's pretty or you love
And
her,
I
Right.
right? So
that's
it's the
that's what
same
Right.
simple.
I always tell dudes that had like, yo, take her on a date, give her flowers. Like this how niggas should treat you.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's not flowers, be attentive enough to know what her interests are.
Exactly.
Yeah, boom, bam, because this how niggas should treat you. If I had a
Right.
daughter, yep, she gonna know. So hey, if we
Yeah.
ain't doing that, now
And it's the same thing with sons.
I'm not gonna have her be in the mindset where she think she need a nigga to take her to Ruth Chris. No,
Yeah.
because a
Hmm.
nigga could take you to Burger King. It ain't about what y'all doing. It's about the time y'all spending together and getting to know each other.
Right.
Yeah. And it's
And
the
you should
same
be
thing with the sons.
appreciative
The
of that.
moms need to be spending just as much time with the sons to teach them how to interact with women in healthy ways.
That's
It's
true.
not all just about dick measuring with your dudes. It's not all just
That's
about
true.
getting her
That's
pants.
true.
It's about
Right.
engaging
That's
and
true.
getting to know her and personalities and communication. And that's why I was saying, like, can't nobody tell me about me. I buy myself flowers. I do all the things for me. So when my man, I've always had this standard, and my and friends along years have always asked me why I've
Hmm.
been able to do this. So my standard has always been whatever I had, you got to meet it and beat it. Whatever I was already doing for myself, you got to meet it and beat it. Whatever I had in my last relationship that we were doing together or that he was doing for me or co-creating in that experience with me, you got to meet it or beat it. Because if I chose to walk away from that or we chose to leave each other or uncouple or whatever, and I'm good with me and I'm doing it all for myself
Right.
anyway, in order for me to be willing to allow you to take up space with me, you got to meet what the standard is and exceed it. Because if not, what you here for, right? And
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 I
so
really,
I
I,
set that standard for me, and because I do that for me, the people that have come into my life have never had a problem because I'm not asking for anything that I'm not already doing. And whatever their standards are, then yes, in the reciprocity of that experience, whatever their needs are, then that communication has to flow so that I can meet and exceed your standards. It has to be a reciprocal exchange. But a lot of times people are afraid to have those standards because, well, maybe I'm asking for too much. Too much shit, I'm doing it for myself. If it's too much for
I,
you, bye.
I, I think that's the wrong mindset to have. I'm so, and the reason why I say that is because you can meet Joe Schmo
Sure.
and have the most wonderfulest, most beautifulest, deep, engaging conversation you ever had in your life, and it's moving, and you like, hey, I might want to get to know him, and then you find out like he just stuffed envelopes to make his living. You know what I'm saying? And now
No.
because of your mindset, you looking down on that like, oh, I can't deal with him, I can't mess with him. But he could be the thing that takes your life into another orbit because he has a certain mindset that when you really start dealing with him, and then you be like, hey, why don't you try this? And he say, let me do that. And then next thing you know, but
Did
I'm just saying,
not start off
I
tonight's episode saying this ain't
no,
no
no,
build a bitch or build a nigga
Right.
room.
I'm not, no, I'm not saying build them. I'm just
But
saying,
that is what you basically just
nah,
described.
nah, that's not what I described. See, that's the thing. See, because women always equate things to like, oh, this is it, and this is, and it's
That
like,
sound
yo,
like you building to me.
it's a lot of nah. You ain't building shit because you already in your spot. You already got your shit. You ain't worried about it, but you say, hey, you might want to try this. Just like you do with a girlfriend, like, hey, you might want to try this. You ain't sitting there trying to just like, oh, I need you to be here, and I need. Nah, you just saying, oh shit, okay, from what they, okay, you might want to try that, and that's it. If they do, they do. They don't, they don't. But that's how I said. That's
But
my
something
habit too.
tells me you ain't gonna ask them only once.
And see, that's that thought process that, and that's why I say I don't agree with it. It's your thought process. Think however you want. I just don't agree with it, and that was my original. I don't agree with that thought process. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just don't agree with
So Sure said there was a young
Wow.
lady who wanted to be an astrophysicist, met a guy, got married. She told him her plans, had the first baby, sat down and talked about her returning to school to get her doc. 4 babies later, she still does not have her doctorate. Every time she wanted to fulfill her dreams, her husband figured a child would make her forget, but she supported him. And this is why listen, talk about it up front. If you only want to have one kid, don't let them talk you into four. If you don't want to have none, fuck him and find somebody else. If it's non-negotiable for you, if it's negotiable, decide how many you're gonna have and let that be that. Don't let anybody, man or woman, put us in a position to give up on our dreams. And that's the problem. A
Right.
lot of people get married figuring, well, this should be enough for them because we're together now or we have these kids now. No, that person should still be able to fulfill their dreams just like you've been fulfilling yours. This is where you would need to stand 10 toes down on what makes you whole as a man or a woman. Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And so we got to be, again, this is why I'm like, listen, I host a whole podcast talking about sex. Clearly, I am an advocate for sex and getting it in as often as you can. However, before the good times roll, you have to be willing to communicate and ask the uncomfortable questions. Another thing that I do that trips people out, but it has worked for me and I've avoided a lot of bullshit. My first dates with people are literally like all day dates. I promise you, the last 15 years, my first dates have been 6 to 12 hours for most of them.
it. Damn.
Because normally we get together for breakfast and then we end up going sightseeing, or we'll get together for brunch or lunch or something. Then we might end up going sightseeing, might go to a museum. Like we're doing different activities to see each other in different spaces. And I
I mean,
kid
I
you not,
feel that, but
it
a
has helped
first
me
date, four
avoid.
4 hours, 4 hours tops is good. Shit, I gotta get home and
And
relax.
it's not
Fuck
for
that.
everybody, but it works for me. And that's a lot because I'm an introvert. Like after a while, I'm peopled out and I'm like, okay, I'm done talking. But they get to see me in that space. Okay, this is what I look like when I don't feel like peopling no more. This is what I look like when I'm hyped. It gives you an opportunity. And again, it's not for everybody, but it really does give you an opportunity to see different parts of that person in different circumstances, different conversations, different people around. So how do they respond? You know what I'm saying? Um, and it has led to
Mm.
me and that other person a lot of the times very quickly being able to say, nah, like I had fun, but not sure we're really a match. Or you know what, this has really been good. Let's continue to see where this goes. Not for everybody, but the whole point is communication. Stop just feeling like you got to go to dinner once or twice and now you want to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Stop just feeling like because they took you to an expensive restaurant, they're the right dude, or because she has the body, she's the right chick. Like, actually get to know them on an intellectual level. Check out their cognitive reasoning. What are their childhood
Body
trauma
don't
patterns
mean
that are coming
shit.
up as they talk? Like,
If
listen
you
to
But
date
I
speak
mean,
on this
if
thing and
you
not
date
think.
yourself, if you
hold
date
on, hold
yourself and
on.
you can take yourself out to a nice restaurant, that shit won't impress you.
Right.
That's my whole point. Back to what I was saying. But anyway, I got a different question. So, cause I'm not this type of dude. But how many times have a nigga just like y'all met him? They just did like some inappropriate shit, like pull their dick out for no reason.
I've had somebody do that and send me a video.
Oh, okay,
I mean, do it in a video chat. Um,
okay.
but and he got blocked real quick. But that was like literally only one time I've had that happen.
Okay.
Oh, I've gotten unsolicited before.
So you talking about like just a pick? I'm just trying because I'm like, as I heard stories like yeah, we was talking. Next thing I know, I turn around, this nigga had a dick. I'm like, what? Like that's crazy.
Where they do that at?
That's what I be like. Wow, niggas be doing that shit.
That's wild as hell.
Yeah, that is wild.
That's like diabolical. Like, what you think she gonna trip and fall on it, sir? Like, what?
They think they gonna be impressed. Like, oh shit, he got it out. Let
But
me
the
dump
bad
on it.
thing is the ones that either whip it out and take pictures real quick. Ain't nothing to write home about. I'm just
Oh my
saying,
god.
like, nigga, you should have kept that to yourself. I wouldn't be bragging about that.
Ooh,
Just saying. Oh
Damn,
well.
that's fucked up. But yeah, nah,
well.
women always. I do be seeing women online always talking about how they be getting them unsolicited hits, and I be like, I don't even know how you do that. Like, how do you
That's
do that?
just diabolical. And look, that's part of the fantasy versus reality too, right? Because how many men, I don't know because I'm not a man, but I've heard, different conversations. How many men be like, damn, Shawty fine, she thick as hell. And then when they get the goods, it was trash. How many women be like, oh, he's sexy. Oh, he's thick. Oh, he chocolate. Oh, he thick with it. Oh, he work out. And then the penis is
Disappointing.
like, disappointing. It's trash, like that's another area of the fantasy versus reality. Like, I'm
Right.
not saying you got to be fucking like bunnies until you get married, but again, I think those are conversations that people should have. What does it look like? What are your fantasies? What are the things that you just got to make sure are included? Do you do bondage? Are you into BDSM? Do you want to be spit on or peed on? Like, what are your kinks? Is all of this off limits? Do you do anal or not? Are you a throat goblin? Like, whatever it is, are you a cunnilingus specialist? Like, all of these things have to be
Or will
talked
I be
about.
like, I could have had a V8?
Right. Cause ain't nothing more disappointing than some trash dick. I mean, like, it just
Especially after he done bragged about it. You brag about it, and then I like, well, whose was that you was talking about?
I mean, I don't know what y'all talking about, but I guess the same thing would be mediocre pussy, cause yeah, mediocre pussy is bullshit. So yeah, I
I
guess they would
mean,
equate to
don't
that.
don't do all that bragging and stuff because then yeah, that right
and
there
I
is also the fantasy versus reality will get you like
because no woman in the history of ever has been like, well, you take care of me and pay all these bills. I mean, the dick ain't shit, but I'm gonna marry him anyway, baby. Because you know what I'm
I
saying?
don't
They're not
know.
really
Bravo.
excited about it. They
What
I've
did
don't
heard
do
that?
it.
What did
I've
Now,
heard
I'm not saying
some
they
do it
don't
with
do
guys
it,
that got money.
huh?
I've heard some do it with guys that got money. They be
Right.
like,
Well, that's
he
my
ain't
point though.
shit, but
They'll
he
do
got
it,
money.
but they not excited about it. They not excited to marry that dude with trash ass dick. They are excited
Mhm.
about the money. Was my point. No, nowhere in the history of ever has a woman been excited to be with a man that she is not sexually pleased with. She's excited about something else that he brings to the table. And ain't nowhere in the history of ever has a man ever married a woman with
And you
trash
could tell,
vagina
you could
and been
tell,
excited about it.
and you could tell too, Jay, because
Huh?
what she says is, well, he's a good provider.
He's a good man,
Now
Savannah.
when she says stuff like that, the dick is trash.
Or no, they brag about the size of the ring.
The dick is trash.
Well,
If she talk,
I
if she
ain't
tell,
never had a lot of money.
If she talks about how he's a good provider and he can cook his ass off and his
Or no,
dick
they
is
no, but they
trash.
brag about the size of the ring. Like, look,
Look at the ring. Yeah, but that dick is trash. The bigger the ring, the trashier the dick.
Jesus. I can't vouch for that correlation. I don't know, but hey, there may be something to it. There may be something. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I think there's so many ways that fantasy shows up, and we put people on these pedestals, whether it's the sex, whether it's the adventure that we thought we were going to have with them, the type of support that we thought we were going to have with them, the goals and the potential we thought they were going to fulfill, or the person that we thought we were going to be with them. I mean, it shows up in so many different ways, but the sad part is that when the shit is slapping you in the face, you got people that would still dig their head in the sand and be like, I don't see it. What you talking about? Mm-mm. And mad at the people that love them that are trying to point it out. Like, you see this, stop being obtuse. I know you see this shit. Y'all are toxic. You know what I'm saying? Or people that are always fighting. You ever been around a couple and all they do is fight and it makes everybody uncomfortable? But they're like, but we love each other though. How? Sway? What? Where?
Well,
It depends on the vibe.
No.
It depends on the vibe because if that's how they talk to each other, then okay, y'all been doing that shit for 50, 60 years. That's y'all shit. But if y'all are really like fighting, nah. But if they just cuss each other out, like hand me the goddamn remote. Fuck you, nigga. Here, take the goddamn remote. Okay, that's how y'all get down. But if
No,
y'all
I'm talking
literally
about people
like,
that be ready to throw blows and become in
yeah, no. If
arguments,
you
and
if you
everybody's
like that,
uncomfortable. Like,
no. I'm not. I'll be around one time and I'm out. I'll never be around you again.
right. And they wonder why nobody wants to come out with them anymore. It's because, like, y'all asses are toxic. The fantasy is over. Y'all need to get divorced. Let it go. Cut ties. Dissolve.
nobody
Whatever.
wants to go to jail with you, bro.
Oh, go ahead, jail. Shit, I'm gonna be the one calling the cop. Hey, come get these. Come get both of them. He done punched her in the mouth, knocked her dishes across the room. She done stabbed him. Come get both of
Nobody wants to be a witness, and nobody wants to be the
Right.
cop.
Like, I
So
don't want to be
get
your
the hell out of
alibi
here.
just because you were stupid as hell. Like, no, we don't do that over here. No.
Right.
But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I think it all comes down to what we're all saying is communication, right? Like, you can't
them. Basically,
have a successful and healthy relationship with anybody, especially long term, if
but
you are
then,
not willing to face yourself and see the truth of who they are and what they're bringing to
yeah,
the experience and you're bringing to the experience.
So
And is it worth
and
it?
then stop being selfish and stop being reflective.
I have a
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
What about those who, yeah, he was what you wanted when you was in your 20s or in your 30s, he or she, or
Yeah.
even in your 40s, but it's like they got stagnant and they just stayed where they were when y'all got together and they never grew. And then, I mean, there's a saying that women marry men hoping they'll change, and men marry women hoping they won't.
But they don't.
And that's the thing too, is that when your growth doesn't match,
I think
because
that's why a lot of people are
sometimes
married
you
20, 30 years and get divorced.
right, and that's the thing too, is that maybe the reality finally got to be a bit too much, because sometimes people tolerate a lot. I'll just wait until the kids get grown. I just wait until I retire. I just wait till, you know what I'm saying? And like, you're not guaranteed to be here till your kids get grown. You're not guaranteed to be here to retire. You're not guaranteed to be here to do any of that. So why stay miserable with somebody waiting for there's no perfect opportunity to get with someone, and there's no perfect opportunity to leave them.
I think it's the
Right.
reason a lot of people are married for so long and then they finally get divorced. Um, but I think that's the sad part, is that some people have the capacity to hold space as each other grows and evolves and changes, you can't possibly be the same person 20 years from now, right? That's the level of stagnancy that I don't think anybody can really express.
Right.
And so some people have the capacity to evolve in themselves and have space for their partner to evolve and allow themselves to enjoy the adventure and the journey of learning as you're growing who you're becoming with one another, right? But then there are other people who are so staunch in what they need their life to look like or who they see themselves to be or what they wanted in a person. They don't have the capacity to accept you in your growth or your evolution. So again, I think that's part of getting to know a person. You know, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of I think that's a big part of right why a lot of people they date for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, get married, can't make it 2, 3 years, and they're divorced because they thought getting married would finally make that person do that man or that woman do whatever it was, and that shit did not change because you signed that piece of paper, right? It didn't change because you waited 20 years or had 5 babies or 10 babies. Like life,
They thought it would fix it.
yeah, life is ever evolving and it's like a roller coaster. You sign up for that shit and you just got to kind of deal with whatever it hands you around every corner. But you got to learn the person that you're with in order to grow together and evolve together. And some people can and some people can't.
And
I don't necessarily think divorce is a bad thing though. That's just my perspective
right.
because I don't think every person is married for a lifetime. I think there's sometimes that people are in our lives and we're in their lives for a season. And it doesn't mean that it was a failure. It means this is who you needed or were supposed to be within that season for whatever the reasons. And then you move forward and there's a different person that you have a totally different experience with. But maybe without that first experience, you wouldn't be this version of you to now have this next experience, right? So I just am always learning to be open to the journey. I think that's the most powerful thing that we can do is learning to be open to the journey. As we get ready to close out, Nadina said, "Uh-oh, here we go." But I have to put this on here. 4 kids, girl. You know what makes a baby. So 4 kids later, maybe you thought you wanted an education, but the drive wasn't there. 4 kids later proves that. Yeah. So I think a lot of this, I think in that example that Sher gave us with that young lady, maybe she was afraid. Maybe she was trying to please him. Like we don't know because we don't have a lot of context, right? But I'm with
Right.
you, Nadina. Like at some point, well, let's also say based on circumstance because maybe her religious beliefs didn't allow for birth control. Like there are so many different
Right.
layers to this that we just don't know. You know what
Right.
I'm
What
saying?
what what religion does not allow for abstinence?
There's a lot of religious beliefs that people believe they can't abstain
Um
from their
n-
partner.
yeah, not when you're married, because a
Yeah.
lot of a lot of religions do say, husbands submit to your wives and wives
I've
submit
met
to
a
your
lot of
husband.
Catholics, a lot of Mormons, a lot of
Wait,
Christian
Yeah.
what?
women that feel like
Which
once
which
you're
which
married, you
which
can't abstain from
religion
your
say
husband.
husband submit to the wife?
It's actually in the Bible.
Yep.
You
Okay,
know
read
that,
it to
right?
me. No, read it to me.
It says, wives submit to your husbands, husbands submit to Christ.
Okay, that's different than what she said.
Nuh-uh. Hold on, I'm about
Well,
to find it.
there go that look.
Cause you said one thing and she said something different. I'm trying to figure out how's that not different.
It is different. Hold on.
Oh God. Da 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 da. La la da 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 da. Mm.
All right, while we wait on that, look, I need some Scrapple. So if any of our listeners have access to Scrapple, holler at me.
I do. Y'all don't have Scrapple down there?
We don't have
It's sold
Scrapple
out
here
in
in Texas.
Texas.
I need some beef Scrapple. We don't have Scrapple in Texas.
Sound like you need to be sending a care package, Gypsy.
I ain't sending
Oh,
him shit.
well, and we stopped by Bucky's on Saturday. Had a
Word.
good old time.
Hell yeah,
And I
Bucky's
thought
is the
about you. I
shit.
did. I said I should call Gypsy because she's obsessed with Bucky's.
Y'all
And
went
then
to Bucky's?
we
And Bucky's
did.
is the shit. I ain't know shit about it till I moved here, but ever since I'm like, shit, I tell everybody, you gotta go to Bucky's. Food trucks, I don't have none at all.
Yeah.
because it's a clear mission. Now, if he don't respect that, that's the wrong motherfucker.
And then in Colossians, it say, wives, submit to your husbands as fitting in the Lord, and husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. That's in Colossians.
Exactly, but it says why submit. It ain't say nothing about husband submit.
Okay, so before
Husbands
we
and
start getting out too deep in that and running on a damn
yeah,
tangent, go back to the original Hebrew word for that meaning for that word. It is not what everybody thinks about domination and being less than and beneath husbands like they be
And
trying to
ain't
use it.
nobody say nothing about being less than.
No, I didn't
Not at
say you.
all.
I'm just saying because people love to run with that word, so I'm putting it out there for our listeners. Like,
Yeah,
don't
ain't
trip up
nobody
on the
saying.
word of submission. Like it really, when you get back into the historical text and the etymology of the word is so out of context nowadays. When dudes be like, "I need a wife that's gonna submit to me." Are you submissive? No, nigga, I'm not. Bye. Like no.
Now it's just
Because
me, but to me, submission means in the bedroom. That's all. That's it.
the archaic version is
some kind of
humility
way
and
you took
meekness.
it there, but okay.
Yeah,
That's what I said to me. That's what it means. Like, look, anytime, anywhere. That's my favorite song, Janet Jackson. Hey, what's up? But I'm just saying, though. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, go ahead and bend over real quick. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and put this in your mouth real quick. Hey,
that's why
that's
your
what it is.
mic breaking up because he God don't like ugly.
Everything else,
Oh,
nah. I mean, hey, it's just technical difficulties. We on this new platform. Shit happens. That's all that is.
so I always say go back to the Greek, go back to the Hebrew, and really break down. Y'all already know. So before we bring this to an end, y'all already know I just am a believer in God. Whatever that means for you, that means for you. Like I
Right,
believe that everybody should have the right to feel what they feel, believe what they feel when it comes to religion and or spiritual journeys, right? But when it comes to the Bible, I say it's a great tool, it's a great starting point.
right,
But don't let that be the end all be all of your relationship with whatever you believe in. Because if you're only basing it off a book, how limited is that if you believe in something that is bigger than you? Can it really be contained in a book, let alone one book that's only a couple of thousand pages? Like that's
right,
weird. And so, that's why I say look at the etymology of the words, look at the old text, whether Hebrew, Greek, whatever you use to break down and see what the origins of the text were. Look at the context of those times versus now. Like it just needs to be a study, but not so rigid that you
right,
can't breathe. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. And I know a lot of people, including myself in the past, used to get tricked up on the word submissive or
right.
submission, and it's not all the time
And it does not
what it
mean
was meant to mean.
obedience when you look at it,
Yeah,
because I just
it's
looked
not
at
what it
it.
was meant to
It
mean.
said it does not mean obedience. It means to get under and lift up or to put in order.
Hmm. And so that's
Yeah,
why I say go back to the original. Look, listen
yeah,
with discernment, read with discernment.
I
Sure
mean,
said, sure said, in order for the wife to submit, the husband has to submit first. He leads by example if he is the head of the house. Archive said, Archives in Motion said a strong woman is not going to submit to a man that they do not believe will be able to support her and their kids.
right,
And said it is not just a book, it is the word of God. So I don't debate religion, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
am always willing to have
yeah.
open discussion. And like I
That's why
said, in my
I
book,
don't like
I'm
talking religion.
I don't tell anybody what they have to believe, but in my perception, the Bible is no different than any other book. And the reason I say that is because if God inspired it, if He indeed inspired those men to write those books, those passages and texts in order for us to read them, then the same God is still talking. That same God is still ministering to people. Those same angels are still ministering to people. So that book is a great starting place for somebody who's trying to build a relationship or engage in a relationship, but it should never be the end all be all for what your relationship with God is. That book should not be the only thing guiding you, because if God inspired it, then why would you not want to have a relationship with the person who inspired the book, not bypass them and only focus on the book? And like I said, we've talked about this in the past, having an episode where we just have an open dialogue about religion and spirituality.
Mhm.
But we've all kind of debated on whether we want to do that or not, because I think we're all open minded enough to do it. But you got to realize the three of us are pretty staunch. So I say I don't debate nothing with nobody when it comes to religion or spirituality. I said what I
Mhm.
said, I meant what I said, and I stand on what I said. But I'm
That part.
always willing to have open conversation because I'm always curious about other people's thoughts. I think Gypsy, agrees, and then Sean is kind of like, fuck all that.
Nah,
So
I mean, because people gonna hate what I say, because the Bible was written by a man, and it was so good, it sold so good, he wrote a part two. That's because they
yeah,
ain't had If you had a movie back then, it would have been a manuscript. But hey, that's just what I mean, hey. But that's why I don't talk religion with nobody, because hey, believe in what you believe. Everybody gotta have something to believe in. That's what I truly believe.
well, it's interesting, right? And I actually, this is real life for me. I literally just had this situation happen days ago, and it actually really hurt my feelings,
Mhm.
because it involved somebody really close to me and somebody close to them that I was having a conversation with. And when it was all fun and jokes, I was like, "Yo, you dope, you're pretty cool, like it." And then religion came into the conversation, and I was like, I really don't want to continue the conversation because I don't know you enough yet to feel like I want to jump into this. And based on what I know about the extension of you with other people, like y'all a little different than me, and I'm okay with that. But religion is a little sensitive. And so when I
Yeah.
didn't want to get into the conversation, that person damn near tried to bully me to have a
Wow.
conversation about. And I was like, the reason I was hurt was because I explained to my friend, them knowing how close you and I were, they had no respect for our relationship. They basically spit on it and was like, fuck that. I'm gonna say what I want to say, do what I want to do because I believe this and you need to believe this, and I'm gonna beat this point home, right? And I'm sharing that as an example of this is actually why I just have a hard rule. I don't debate with nobody. I can talk about it with you, but I'm not gonna debate because at the end of the day, I'm still gonna believe what I believe. And the blessing is that I have the ability to be compassionate and kind and have space emotionally to say, I can hear you, and I can
Mhm.
respect what you think and feel that may be different. And whether you call it agreeing to disagree or just respecting differences, whatever you want to label it, I think we as human beings deserve that from one another. Because if
Right.
if you say that you believe in something and I believe in something, who's to say who's right or wrong? And the point that I've always stood on, even when I was a Christian, was ain't nobody got a heaven or hell to put me in, but whatever's up there, if it's real. And if that's the case, then I'm gonna deal with it. But I can't put you in there one, and you can't put me in there one. So if that be the case, I need to live my life based on what I believe to be right, because I'm the only one that can deal with whatever comes after, right? And so I think I find it interesting. So this is why I'm advocating for us to have this as an episode, because I think it's really interesting that it is so divisive in our community, especially as Black people. Like it divides families, and families won't talk to each other, and it ends relationships when people have
Mhm.
different beliefs, and really causes mayhem because we are all
Yep.
at odds instead of being able to approach it from a space of love and respect. Like, all right, you think different, okay. So what do you all think? Is that something, Gypsy and Sean, you think we need to go ahead and put on the calendar for next week to really dive in and just have open
Yeah,
space
we
to talk
should put
about
it on the
these
calendar
things?
because
Hold on,
also,
wait. I'm trying to
also,
understand. Put what on the calendar? Having like that.
reli- a religion, open dialogue about religion, because that
Oh
also, the
no.
thing is that
Sean
is
said he's not gonna
Mm,
participate.
no.
okay. 'Cause
He's not gonna do
what
it.
I was gonna say is also that's the kind of thing that a lot of people don't like to discuss either, and it is a conversation that really needs to be had, because if you have such varying, no, what I'm saying is if you have such varying differences in religious ideals,
Yeah.
um it's gonna come up later on.
I mean, but
Yeah.
why? I mean, okay, so in a relationship, yes, that's important to
Right.
sort those things out. But why y'all want me to sit here and piss off millions of people? Because they're not gonna like what I say. Because like I
But it's
said,
not
it was.
about whether they like what you have to say. It's about us having open dialogue, because this is the whole
But
point of this show. Like, we talk about
you
the
know,
uncomfortable things.
but you know how America is. It's God and religion above all else.
Is it?
Because they not gonna like with us. But
I
hey,
think it's real convenient that a lot of times people hide behind it. People hide
yeah, I mean,
behind it.
because
They
honestly,
hide behind it
if
to
you,
justify hate. They hide behind it to
I mean,
justify
if
fuck
you
shit that they
truly
do.
if you truly are a follower of the word, then you could literally have a calm and cool conversation with me about whatever, and it's not going to affect you because you believe so strongly in your belief. But at the same time, you're not going to get combative or offended.
Yeah.
But
That's
are
why
they
I'm
really
saying I think
truly
we can
followers
have
of the
this
word?
conversation. Well, that's why I'm saying I think we can have this conversation. Y'all know
All
me.
right,
Listen, y'all been
I
with
put
me
it like
long
this.
enough to know
I
I
put
don't
it
do the
like this.
disrespect. So anybody that gets in the comments carrying on, we just gonna move it, block it,
I
and keep
can,
it
I
going.
can,
Right.
I can speak on the fringes. Now, if somebody want to come at me, by all means, let's do it. Hey, I love me a good rebel. So you know what I'm saying. But
So are we
hey,
agreed that next? That's what we're gonna talk about next week.
Yep.
I would speak on the fringes. I ain't gonna get deep into, but I'll speak on the fringes.
All right, y'all heard it. We done finally came to an
Okay.
agreement. We gonna dive in and just have an open forum and talk about, different aspects of religion, spirituality, beliefs. But again, y'all, I think in the audience, and Sean and Gypsy, y'all definitely know me well enough at this point to know we don't do the disrespect. So anybody that
No,
gets
we
in the
don't.
comments acting a fool, they just gonna be blocked and keep it moving. And I
That
hope the
part.
audience knows, y'all been with us long enough to know as well. We don't disrespect anybody. We stay what we say. We mean what we say, and we stand on it. But we all three try to come from the place of
Having a
healthy
grown up
boundaries and respect.
dialogue.
Yeah, grown up
Hold on,
dialogue and
I mean
discourse.
on that conversation, you could bring it. I'm a verbal pugilist, so bring it on. I mean, I get down with the hands too. Trust me, I would not. But I'm just saying, verbally, yeah, uh, you know what I'm saying.
All right, then, as we wrap this up for tonight, listen, bust them bubbles, y'all. Stop playing with them fantasies and start talking to the real person in front of you and that you're dating or sleeping with or married to. Get to know them, pull the mask off, pull the covers back, and get vulnerable and naked with them emotionally so that you can build something strong and long lasting. Or realize that they ain't it. You ain't it. And y'all go on and find other people that you're better
Right.
suited to be with instead of forcing a square peg to fit into a round hole, right? With
Right.
that being said, make sure that before you jump out, that you click that like button on this video right here, right now. Click that little thumbs up.
Listen.
Let us know
Yep.
that you
Yep.
were engaging with us and that you were vibing with us. Grab that share link and share it out to your peoples, because I'm gonna say it like I said it before. If you ain't tell them, I don't think you like them like that. That's just my truth, and
That
I'm sticking to
part.
it. And
That
lastly, make
part.
sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you get notified. We know that sometimes it's a little glitchy, but make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you'll get notified when we're doing videos. Also, for those of you that joined us a little bit after we got started, we did use a different streaming platform tonight. We were testing it out tonight. We'll be testing it out next week as well to see if we like this one. This one is Riverside, and we have previously been using StreamYard. So we'll be comparing and seeing which one we like the most so we can keep it popping and go ahead and get it moving to grow the platform and really engage with you all with our video content. We love y'all. And see y'all on the next Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, y'all. What Tevin Campbell said, Audi 5000. Peace.